Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Skymetal Iron Gods, our Pathfinder 2E adventure, DM'd or game mastered by Vi here, who I will turn it over to in just a moment. This is Chapter 1, Fires of Creation, Part 3. It's been a minute since we played this game, and by a minute I mean 2 months, I think, at least. But we're back, and this is our third session, so if you want to get caught up, you can always head over to youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain and watch the VODs of this and all our other games. And this adventure will be up by this weekend on the YouTube channel. Real quick, if you look up right up here above my head, you will see that we have for this particular game, our domain dice are, they're actually called, what are they called in this one?
Skymetal relics or something?
Domain relics, that's it.
Domain relics, there we go.
There we go. So, I don't know, did I spell that wrong? It didn't show up. Anyway, I actually owe us one there. So the way these work is that we can use them for a variety of things, including rerolls, which is the important thing that they get used for. And we can only get those by you, the audience. Cheering, subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, all that good stuff earns domain relics for us, as well as support the channel. Be sure to catch our other shows. You can type !schedule to see what else we've got going on. We have a once a month Call of Cthulhu game coming up, I believe this weekend. We've got our every Thursday night. You can catch us here for Welcome to Paradise, Michigan, a kids on bikes RPG set in the 1980s. Of course, on Mondays is Scribes and Scrolls, our Pathfinder, another Pathfinder 2E adventure. And 3 of the 4, including this one that I mentioned, all feature both me and M. So we're in every one of those. So yeah, check those out. I believe, there's something that I want to mention. Our own big bearded nerd, Dwight, has joined Pavlov across America this summer, riding 1,000 miles and raising money to help fight childhood cancer. I should clarify, riding 1,000 miles on bicycle. Cycling. He's riding in honor of his father-in-law, Mark. To learn more and to donate directly at the link, you can follow the link that's in the chat. And that will take you to his page, and you can see his updates and donate directly. And stay tuned for more great things coming from MTD and Pavlov, hopefully in the not too distant future. The last thing that I want to mention before I turn things over is just a reminder that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are many reasons why you might be struggling. All of us struggle to some degree at some point. First off, it's okay to struggle. It's okay to not be okay. But please know that you do not have to struggle alone. At any time, you can come into the chat here and you can type !help, and that will bring up a couple of URLs. They are findahelpline.com. Or you can check out TakeThis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to visit those sites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Vi.
Thanks, Jake. So it's been a while since we've last played. So I'll summarize a little bit of a recap here for us. We are in the town of Torch, at least we were, where there was a great, massive purple flame that roared in the center of town atop its great black hill. Of course, this has been a staple of this town. It drives its economy, its trade. This fire is the only thing in the region that can melt down and smelt Skymetal. So that's one of the biggest hubs of this town is its Skymetal trade. Until one day, the torch went out. It snuffed out, only now a bubbling crater of muck instead of the great bonfire it once was. The Council of Torch has grown desperate now, their lifeblood literally extinguished, calling upon mercenary groups to go investigate why the torch might be extinguished. They're following in the footsteps of one of their council members, a very renowned and intelligent alchemist and wizard by the name of Conir Bane, who was investigating it personally until he went missing. And so the task that you are undergoing is twofold. Find and return Conir Bane safely to the council, and to relight the fires of Torch. And so you've been investigating the caves beneath the city of Torch, finding them infested with molds and strange creatures. In addition, you've found the remains of the previous expeditions in very many mortal dead states littered throughout the caves. There seemed to be something amiss, but that's what you're going to discover soon. You recently fought a great blind creature with eyes that were like spotlight strobes that dazzled the party with these strobing lights from its eyes, causing Gideon, M's character, to go incapacitated. But with the healing magics of Inanisara, the party is whole once more. If we look on our map here, you have just come down from here to this little thin corridor, and have investigated a crossroads of sorts in the caves, where there are two paths that lead ahead that fork off, one into a great basin filled with something you're not quite sure, you haven't really investigated it yet, and the other snaking off to the left. I remember, Dexter, you had gone, I believe, into this one corner northwards and found rubble and chalk drawings upon the walls. And that is where we had left off, deep in the caves beneath Torch. Supplies, morale, and stamina dwindling as you continue down into the depths. The air is musty down here. It is stale and it is wet. You can hear the sounds of the lapping waters gently caressing the many shores of this cave. It echoes and reverberates, giving a hint at the great size and depth of what is to come. Your breath sticks in your throat in this place, as well as the stink that pervades your nose. You feel like you're being watched, always, though the light beyond, but the area beyond the light of your torch hides great mysteries. You've encountered many perilous foes so far, from beetles to molds to a great creature called a blindheim. Branded on its side was the Darkland's word for pet. I remember one of you being able to read the branding on its side. And now you find yourself here at a branching paths here in the caves. What do you do?
Do we continue straight ahead, or should we investigate to the left? I can see, to a certain point, straight ahead. I cannot see very far to the left.
And what is it that you see straight ahead?
The path continues on for a little ways. It appears as though it may end, but I'll have to get a closer look. I can do this if you would like to stay here and rest. I say this last
As
bit
soon
looking
as-
at Gideon.
Yeah, like you don't even have to finish your sentence. As soon as you say it, Gideon's like, yeah, you do that. You go right ahead. We'll hold the fort.
I'll make sure they don't get caught in anything. Just don't take too long.
I'm just going right up this way, and this is hardly a fort, Gideon, more of a cavern. But you can hold it all the same. And I will turn and I am going to cautiously and quietly continue straight ahead on our current bearing. So past the intersection and towards that southwest corridor.
Would you like to make a stealth check to remain unnoticed? Or at least in your attempt
Right,
to?
let's see. That's a 17 on the die, so that is a 23 stealth.
You are swift on your feet as you're unnoticed. You are confident that you are slinking ahead with no with the knowledge that you're being watched is driving you to be extra cautious with each step. As you press forward, going down this tight hallway, when you pass this alcove here, you can see all the rubble within it and these chalk drawings marked upon the walls. But you continue down further and further. And the first thing you notice as you're entering this tight passageway is how the temperature of this place drops and plummets quickly. And all of a sudden you can see frost and rime, like the bits of frozen moisture clinging to the cavern walls, onto the left and to the right, and even to the floor as you progress this way. You look down and see at the bottom, at the base of this ledge, which is about a 10-foot drop down, is like a fine layer of dust, as well as a body slumped up against the eastern wall in this little alcove here. Reveal this. Okay. In addition, you see that the passageway continues down from this lowered area off into some greater depth that you cannot see.
What does the ground look like at the bottom of this 10-foot drop? Is this soft earth? Is it more
cavern.
rubble?
It is cavern, very little rubble, mostly like upturned stones, smooth from like the passage of time, perhaps. But the main thing you notice is just like a layer of fine dust that is not found elsewhere in this cavern. It's this brown carpet dust.
And I have a feat that is called That's Odd. When you enter a new location, such as a room or corridor, you immediately notice one thing out of the ordinary. It's up to you to figure out what that might be, if there's anything to notice.
Yeah, you would notice that the dust itself seems to be growing a bit on top of the body slumped in the corner. As in there's dust on top of the body in this corner as well, which is unusual for what you imagine the expedition teams that have gone through here. You imagine how could so much dust accumulate over a body in a very, very localized area in a small amount of time. This would be like in the span of, a few weeks ago. I'll draw the.
And um, hmm. I am an investigator by trade or by class. I have expeditious inspection. If I spend 10 minutes, once per 10 minutes, I can observe and assess the surroundings with great speed using recall knowledge, seek, or sense motive. What I'm specifically trying to do is from perched on the edge of this ledge, see if I can get a better understanding or look at what this dust is. Dust that grows upon a body in a short period of time seems like something deserving of caution.
Yeah, you can make a recall knowledge action here. If you have like dungeoneering lore, you can add that in.
Wait, what is this? I have dungeoneering lore 1 terrain. I don't know what that means.
Ooh, interesting.
You have specialized information on a narrow topic. Lore features many you might have military or sailing. It just says 1 terrain. I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to pick a terrain. I'll have to double check on that, but so I don't have anything like dungeoneering or anything like that. So
Okay, that'll be just a straight intelligence then.
straight intelligence. Alrighty. That's an 8 total.
You are not sure what this is. And until you get like a closer look, maybe even like you can get like a feel with it with your fingers. You don't really know what this is.
I would like
It's-
to
Raises questions in your mind.
I would like to unfurl 10 feet of my rope into some of this dust and just try to see if I can accumulate some dust on my rope to bring up and get a closer look at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do.
All right. As you kind of drop some rope down, drag it through the dust, you can see that it like scoops it up. It like collects it pretty easily. And you can retract the rope. The first thing you notice is that the rope itself has frost beginning to accumulate upon on the fibers that are near this dust, and it begins to stiffen and freeze. How close? How much closer do you retract the rope to you?
So I'm imagining that. So I extended. I guess it would be closer to like 15 feet of the rope, so that I had some slack to get into it since it was 10 feet down. I'm picturing sort of like pulling it up and having about 3 or 4 feet of it where I'm just sort of holding it up like this, but it's probably like arm's length away from my face.
Yeah. So you will. I'm curious. How do you have a save that you can do against this? So confused.
Fortitude, reflex, or will save.
So what I want to say is like you can do a fortitude save here. I would like let's just, like have you do a fortitude save as you bring this close. You just realize how much this dust is like leaching the heat from the air in its nearby area, almost like sucking it out of your skin, your breath, your muscles, your flesh.
That is, well, it's a good thing my flesh is synthetic. I have if it is a disease, poison, or radiation, I will have 1 higher. But I rolled an 18 and I have a 3 fortitude, so it's 21 on the save.
All right. I will say that all right, you get to cut the damage in half from this. So you will take 3 points of cold damage from the emanations of this dust upon your rope. But getting a closer look to it, you're probably able to get a better look. But you notice that the cold is not abating, and it will continue to harm you in this way until you get away from it.
I think that as soon as I start to feel that cold effect and take the effect, which I just imagine this little bit of like frost accumulating across my face and maybe even down my arm where I'm holding this, I'm going to let out the slack a little bit and just smack the rope against the side of the wall just to try to dislodge, see if I can like basically shake this dust off it.
Yeah, it comes off very easily.
And then I will wrap my rope up and I'm going back to the group. And as I get back to you guys, I say, there is a cavern up ahead. There's a 10-foot drop to the cavern floor. I found a body. But there is some kind of strange dust. When I tried to investigate it, began to freeze me. I do not think it would be safe for any of us, especially not you in your condition, Gideon. There does appear to be a path that leads out of that cavern to the east, the same as this cavern right here, traveling to the southeast.
Well, that sounds like we have our decision.
By we have our decision, do you mean you want me to investigate this corridor as well?
Yeah, you read my mind. He says as he like kind of sits back.
I will, without comment, turn on my heel and do the same thing again. I'm going to sneak quietly down this new corridor, and my plan is to move about 25 feet. I guess that's my speed, so my plan is to move about that distance and take another look. Or until I see something new, or I've gone a total of 100 feet. I don't want to go 100 feet away, more than 100 feet away.
You progress down this tunnel, and it winds and it slopes downwards and opens up into a massive, sprawling cave that you don't have dark vision, do you, right? You just have
I have low light vision.
a low light. And what kind of light source are you bringing with you?
You can see in dim light as though it were bright light. I believe since we entered the cavern, I have been carrying a torch.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll say you can see about like this much.
I will move to the opening to the mouth of this passageway. Specifically, I'm interested in if the temperature continues to drop precipitously like it did in the other corridor.
You do not feel it get any cold. In fact, like the coldness seems to be coming from behind you now. This area here seems to be a massive, sprawling, vaulted chamber that rises almost nearly 30 feet overhead. There's a thin ledge that you're coming up onto that winds and that hugs and winds on either side of this cavern wall here. That is about 8 or so feet of a ledge drop down into the main body of this cavern. You can see 2 in full and part of a third at the edge of your vision of these huts that seem to be made of what appear to be strips of metal, hides, and some strange fibrous plant matter that sit in this cave, as well as a massive pit in the southern section of this cave. You can see that there is no wall on the edge of your vision, suggesting that there's more to this cave than you can see at this point. But otherwise, it appears empty and dark beyond the source of your illumination.
Any signs of movement or life around these huts?
You might roll me a perception check, please.
That is a 15.
It feels ominously empty and still and quiet. It feels as if this cavern is holding its breath in that way that you would hold your breath if you are being hunted, as if you're being watched. But you cannot see any signs of life stirring about beyond the existence of these shacks. And there's not much detail you can glean from the torchlight at this distance beyond that.
This has big time vibes of an Alien, or maybe it was Aliens, whichever one, where the big structure, the big alien crash ship. I'm going to go back to my party. There is a very large chamber, cavern, at the end of this passage, about 40 feet or so. There is a very deep pit. There appear to be huts, but I do not see the hut dwellers, or any signs of hut dwellers. I could only see so far. The cavern appears as though it may be larger. There is no trace of the dangerous cold in this direction. I recommend we proceed this way.
So you didn't see anyone or anything. Did you hear anything?
I listen with all of my senses. Or I investigate with all of my senses.
I understand that.
I did not hear anything.
Okay.
I did not see anything. The only thing I felt was a sense of emptiness. Physical emptiness of the space, not emotional emptiness. I am incapable of feeling that.
I know, good buddy. Okay. I would rather be, my current temperature than cold. So, Gideon, Inanisara, are y'all ready to go?
I suppose. Rather than just sitting here.
See Gideon, he tries to get up nonchalantly, but he's quite injured. But so he goes to stand and kind of like sways, but like just kind of puts his hand lightly on the side. Yeah, let's move forward. Thanks, Dexter, he says after a bit.
Of course. Do you need help?
So
And I will hold out my hand.
Just, sometimes when you get up and your head gets a little woozy, you get a little, and he looks down at like the obvious like bleeding that he's doing, or like dazed. I'm fine. But I think that you should lead since you know the area.
That makes sense. Follow in my footsteps. I have already determined it is safe. And again, I turn on my heel and follow, or rather lead everyone to this same opening into this ledge.
And so you as a party move on. We can go ahead and I believe you should have the ability to drag your characters around to form whatever marching order you wish. But does anyone have any vision that is better than low light vision?
No, I just have low light as well.
Okay, cool. You would see, as Dexter has described, the huts built into the corners of this cave, the ledge that goes down, as well as this like little like outcropping that you probably could walk with, like, you know, your back pressed up against the wall, as well as it possibly connecting back to this previous room that you saw. There's a massive pit in the ground that that Dexter had described, and as well a feeling of emptiness and massiveness and cavernousness from this section of the tunnels. You see, the only way to go forward is either to continue along this ledge up Northway, or to hop down into the massive cavern below. It's about an 8-foot drop, so nothing that you can't handle. What do you want to do from here?
I am curious about the body that was in the cold chamber. Do you think it's worth risking to further investigate the body?
Did it bother? Did the cold bother you in any way? Did it mess up any part of you?
It was very cold, and I could feel it getting colder. I feel that too much exposure could result in my termination.
Oh, okay. Then I think maybe we should wait to do that part. Maybe see if we can figure out a way to not make it so cold. I think we should go this way. And she points to like the north side of this ledge. She doesn't suggest just hopping down into the cavern. She's more of a, I'm going to slide against this wall and just listen.
That makes sense. I will make a mental note of the body in the cold chamber. At least the cold should preserve it.
Yeah, it should.
I will continue to take point unless somebody else wants to.
I think we're all quite willing for you to take point.
You're doing such a good job.
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I can fit in tiny places. So if you need somebody to like go through a crevice or a crack, I could go ahead. But I don't know if we're gonna run into that.
I'll let you know if I see any crevices.
Perfect.
And I guess we're continuing around the ledge.
As your party goes one by one on this ledge, you see a figure drop from above you, dropping down, hidden in the stalactites that are hanging from the ceiling of this place. They land with a very soft stance, the paddings on their feet cushioning every single sound they make. And even now, you can see that their skin is mottled in a way to resemble the cave itself. This figure stands farther than an arm's distance away from you, but stopping your path. And those of you in the flank of the party will see another one drop down from the ceiling, another one clamber out from one shadowed corner of the hut on the part below the ledge here, kind of surrounding you on all angles. They have drawn these wicked-looking knives. However, they're not apparently hostile, but instead the one in the very front of this area, the one that blocked your path, hisses out to you in a guttural speak that implies that they do not know your common tongue well. Say out to you, "Halt! This is our domain. We do not have quarrel with you. Rest your weapons. Show me your hands." This creature, humanoid and gray-skinned, kind of like eyeballs. How probably some of you had like put your hand on the hilts of your weapons in anticipation of what happened here. We have been
immediately,
watching
like-
you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Immediately Gideon just like, he doesn't drop his weapon, but he, like you said, he was like going to grab on to where it was sheathed and immediately just like puts his hands up. Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. We're the intruders here. We're just looking for some answers.
Holds up the knife, gesturing to all four of you. Good. Be still and listen. Our leader wishes to speak with you, intruders. I will take half of you to go see her. The other half of you stay here with Brath and Yachis, gesturing to the other two of these humanoid creatures that block your flank. Which two of you shall come with me to see Seth?
Sorry, why can't all of us go? I mean, we are a team here.
Want no shenanigans? And we know that you are much weaker. Split up. We've been watching you this whole time. Consider it a ransom. You will behave if you know your friends are somewhere else, yes? And we will behave knowing that our friends are somewhere else. It is a compromise. Two of you will stay here, and two of you will come with me. Whom shall it be? Do not dilly-daddle. She wishes to speak with you now.
And Inanisara would step forward. Well, as much as you can on the ledge that we're on. Well, I'll go.
Yeah, I think Gideon would step forward too.
You come with me, you two. The other two stay put. And then this creature hisses something out in Undercommon, Darkland speak. I can't remember what it's called in this game.
I think it's
People-
undercommon.
I think
I
it's
speak that.
Undercommon. Yeah, you'd hear this primary one hiss out to the other two. Watch them close. Don't let them get into any funny business. I'll be back soon, is what this first one says. But then gestures for the two of you to follow them down this corridor. And you can see by like the slinking posture of this thing, the way it like moves with all like both its hand and its legs over the cavernous ground. It's much more lithe and adapted to these smaller, more cramped conditions. And so it waits for Gideon and Inanisara to follow them.
Yeah, yep.
The other two kind of corner both you, Dexter, and you, Pex'alily, just making sure you don't get up into any shenanigans while your party is separated. But you are led to a small, cramped area, another cave similar to this one, where it's again drops down to the little ledge. This cramped cave is filled with metal junk covering almost every single inch of the ground. There's a precarious pile that rises up in a heap-like hut to this northwest of this cave. And here you can see one of these creatures, much differently garbed than the other ones. A taller posture that is fumbling, not really fumbling, but it's like working with some of these metal scraps in this pile. And would say out in this broken common to this creature, "Thank you, Lupel. Bring them down here. I will speak with them." "Come this way. This is Seth, our leader," says, threatening you with a knife before like hopping down and like gesturing for you to come out and hop down as well.
And how far down is this ledge?
It is like a 4-foot ledge. It's not very
Okay. And Nana
Like-
Sara doesn't just hop down. She'll sit down on the ledge and then like use her very weak arms to like push herself off until she's kind of like dangling, just, you know, to make the drop as small as possible before you get down.
Yeah, I think Gideon just kind of way less smooth than Inanisara kind of just drops down.
The Lupel is the name of this creature you've met. Kind of like blocks the cavern out this way, while the one named Seth you've come to see here stands taller, more gaunt, and has knives and scabbards all over their body, like 2 on their chest, 4 more on their hip, some on like their forearms, and some on their legs, just covered in knives. "Apologies," Steph says. "But how we have met. I had to be sure that you would listen. We have ourselves a bit of a truce we'd like to offer. These are our caves, and you are intruders. But we understand that you are here on some business, perhaps. There are many like you have come through this place, and I do not wish to have happen what the last ones have done. Understand? You're following so far.
What have the last ones done?
They were violent and brutal. And, well, we'd like to talk before we unsheath our weapons at each other. I can grant you safe passage through these caves, as well as perhaps a reward of a strange device that you might be seeking. In exchange, of course, for leaving us alone, bringing no harm to us, as well as clearing out pests that have taken up residence and have made our lives very difficult. Do this for us. We will leave you in peace as you will leave us in peace. And I'm sure these would be enticing for you. And holds up these strange, like synthetic material, like discs. They don't look like metal. They don't look like wood, but something even stranger still. And they have like this matte, flat, brown stripe that goes across the one face of them. They're all uniform in size, and there are 5 of them.
Does it look like it might be the same kind of material that Dexter is made from?
So Dexter's not made of like plastic or whatever. Like Dexter's made of like person. As far as like anyone can really tell.
Okay.
Like Dexter's not like a robot. Uh, even though he might talk like one sometimes. These are made of plastic, but your characters do not know this.
Mm.
And like Seth, this bald, gray-skinned person, looks almost confused at like your lack of recognition at seeing these items.
What are
These not of use to you.
Don't believe I've ever seen things like this before.
The previous people coming through this place valued these very highly. A purple-haired woman told me to collect every single one of these I could find.
Now, when Seth says purple-haired woman, does that hit any recognition of the people that we were kind of sent here to look for?
You never were
Nope.
told of a purple-haired woman, nor would you even think that like purple hair is like not very common and would be like very recognizable and like a thing that you'd say about a person or about a group. And there's no mention of purple hair at all in any of the briefs that you've been given about the previous teams.
And this purple-haired woman, she came from the same direction that we did.
Yes. She spoke with my predecessor, in fact. Made a deal with us.
How long ago was that?
1 second. DM goes flipping through notes. Do, 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 do. It's a good question. I wish I had not lost my notes. I have to quickly find this. Uh, 8 days ago, in fact, which does not line up at all with any of the expeditions that have gone down into this place. All the expeditions have
Or
happened.
after.
Sorry?
Sorry, you were about to answer my question. I
Yeah.
interrupted you.
8 days ago is what this creature says, which does not line up with any of the expeditions that you have been briefed on, which have all happened within the last week.
So this was even before that.
Before that, yes.
Was this purple-haired woman the first?
First of intruders, yes.
First of intruders.
First we've ever had in this place. She was with her were other humans. And like you, pointing to Gideon, and orcs and rat folk, like the one that you have with you.
Mhm.
And what happened to her?
She continued on her way through these caves. We That was part of our deal.
Was she ever
I have
to
not
come
heard
back?
from her since.
Was part of the deal for her to have come back? Or was she to never have come back?
She gave us the promise of a great payment in return of guarding this place from intruders.
Oh,
Of
she
course,
hired,
back then our numbers were over double of what we have now.
she hired you to guard this place.
Yes.
Well, hired,
We've-
as in she hasn't yet paid you.
No, we've not been paid yet, but we understand what has happened here. We are dying one by one by intruders like yourselves coming to slaughter us. This is why we did not draw our blades at you and strike our first blow. In fact, we want to stop this violence before more of our numbers are lost. We have so few now. I wish to give my people somewhere safe to live.
If she's had you guard this place, did she bring you here from somewhere else, or has this always been your home?
This has not been our home all the time. No, we came following my predecessor from a deeper land. But it seems that she was foolish to bring us here, for Zeroli's death is here.
How did she find you in the first place?
Who,
This purple-haired woman, to bring you
Gosh.
here.
as you did to us, was an intruder upon these caves.
But you weren't yet here in these caves. You said you came from deeper.
I must have
Deep-
misunderstood. My common is not the best. We do not hail from this cavern, but from a place deeper still. We have followed my predecessor, a great sorceress, from a land deeper where the violent things there were pushing us out. And we thought this would be a place of safety for our kind, but alas, it was not. Because people like you have come to slaughter us down into these caves.
I'm trying very hard not to be offended by this people like us, because we did
You're
not come to
outsiders,
slaughter,
yes, from above ground.
but we did not come to slaughter you.
This is true. You are the first sane ones. Well, second, I guess.
Second, you say. So there was
Well,
another group that didn't.
The first group that did not come here to kill us was the group of the purple-haired woman and her cohort of orcs and rats.
Oh, I see.
And other humans like him.
So they didn't, but
We
then all the
intruders
rest have.
since. Well, when we are tasked to defend this place with our lives, we have lost our lives. And we no longer wish to uphold that part of our deal with the woman. Well, it's not even a deal that I made, nor any of the others of my kind. But just my sorceress above me, who is now dead because of her actions. I do not agree with how things are set up here, but that is how it is. We wish to live in peace down here, and our peace is being disturbed in twofold by yourselves, which we have come to negotiate a truce, and secondly with some pests that have taken up into the areas, the caves to the north of here. They rummage through our supplies as we sleep, destroy our weaponry as they eat.
I'm sorry,
figured-
I might have missed something. Why don't you just go back to where the deeper?
There are vile creatures down there that would skin us and eat our brains. Why don't you return to your jungles then, huh?
Gideon just like pauses and I guess that's a good point. Are you staying here or are you continuing towards the surface?
We wish to remain in these caves. We thought they were a safe place for us. We have access to fungi we can farm and water we can boil and drink. pets that can guard ourselves here. Of course, pets that you have murdered, but that is neither here nor there.
That was self-defense, to be fair.
It was trying
Yeah.
to eat us.
To be fair, you are intruders upon its lair, and thus our lair, but semantics aside, we
I
had a
think
living
this-
here.
I think this has all started because of some vast misunderstanding. None of us can come down here to slaughter you. That has not been our intention. Our intention has just been to. What do you know about the torch, the burning light, whatever it was that we used to have a torch?
I know nothing of it. I have not been above ground myself. That is not true. I went out one night.
The only reason we're here is because it has gone out. And we're trying to find out why it has gone out. None of us knew that you were even down here.
We
Wasn't
wish
there-
to be skulking in the corners and not forgotten about and unnoticed.
Wasn't there like a gross icky hole that we saw before we came to the cave that the one
Yeah,
guy
there's
was
like
looking into?
where the torch was once burning, now is just
Yeah.
like a bubbling crater of gunk, like of plasm,
Yeah.
basically. That's kind of like
Yeah.
boiling and like slow bubbling and stuff.
So Gideon's gonna describe that to
Mhm.
them to see if they know anything about that kind of gross ichor.
We have seen leaks of it, yes. Your nasty fluids. Sometimes it comes and drains itself into the waters to the north of here. It makes the whole stuff foul. But that's been like that for forever. Every now and then, a spout of the fluid would come bursting through, and we'd have to wait weeks before the water to freshen itself again. And even then, the taste would remain.
Hmm.
Well, it's made its way to the surface.
That seems dire then for your kind above.
Which is why we've come below to find out what has changed to have brought it up.
How long ago
We-
did your great fire burn out?
How long ago was it? Was 7 days or
8 days ago.
8 days ago, in fact.
Oh.
Hmm. 8
Curious.
days.
Hmm.
8 days. And 8 days ago, you saw a woman with purple hair that we know nothing about.
Perhaps this woman then is the culprit of your inquiries.
And
Again-
8 days ago, she made you
Not us.
defend
Yes.
this
yes.
area
Mhm.
from intruders because she knew people would be investigating and she didn't want them finding out. And so she, this purple-haired lady, has set us upon each other to your detriment and ours.
Deal I wish to break. Offers a hand.
Did she mention where she was going?
She did not say it, no, but we tried to follow her before we could no longer.
Where was she headed?
This way, I can show you.
Inanisara would have taken the hand that Seth had proffered.
And Seth here calls out in Undercommon. You may lower your weapons. They've agreed to the deal. And immediately you can see Pex'alily and Dexter. They kind of like give like a sniff at the both of you, and then stop pointing their knives to your throats and lower them, and gesture for you to go onwards into the cave to follow your companions.
Another. Do you know what happened to the others?
What do you mean by others? Others of your
Well,
kind?
The violent ones, yeah, that tried to kill you.
They butchered our number in half, killed our former chieftain, and then continued along this way. The Seth says, as like she's beginning to like go through the tunnels, like leading you around and out to show you this thing of hers. Show you the path. I'm going to mark her as a different color. How do I do that?
They were going this way, the way that you're leading us now, right?
Yes.
Super.
They came through this door. A door that none of us know how to open. And she reveals to you a strange wall at the end of this cavern. As we'll just put like these little guys in their little huts because they're like out of the scene now. And Seth brings you to this strange metal wall that just cleaves in half this cavern. It is out of place and strange to witness. Just does not look like it belongs at all in this cave. A smooth wall of dark gray metal bisects the cavern here, its expanse pitted and scorched, but quite solid looking. There's a strange circular opening that pierces the wall 5 feet off the ground, which you can see is kind of half closed by a door. Though, if you can kind of like poke your head through, you can see that it allows access to some kind of hallway on the other side.
You said they came through there or they went through there?
They went through there. Not sure how they got that metal door open. Even our mightiest could not open it with our bare hands. There's a bit of a crack in there. I can see that the tunnel continues onwards. That is where they had went.
Those weird discs that Seth had shown us, and did she give them to us?
Nope, she's not giving
No.
them to you.
Okay. May I see one of those for a second?
These are yours? When you clear out our pests.
I don't want to take one. I just want to look at it right now to see what it is.
She holds
You
it
may
aloft.
hang on. Yeah,
She
can
holds it
hold on
aloft,
to it.
but holds onto it very firmly with her gray-skinned hands.
Oh, I'd like to like investigate it to see if there's anything like. When you say disc, is it round?
Yeah, it looks like a CD. Like
Okay.
it's quite round. It has like a wide purple, not purple, wide brown band that like that is striped over the one side.
And is it like the same on both sides?
No, the brown stripe is only on
Sorry,
one side.
brown stripe on one side, no
And,
stripe on
and
the
like
other
a,
side.
like a flat plastic on the other side. Yeah.
And about
But like hand sized. Yeah.
solid?
Yep.
Or okay. Is it shiny? The one side with the brown stripe?
Nope.
It's all dull finished.
And like scraped up and scratched and worn and weathered. And like you can see that the brown stripe is like chipped in spots, but
Okay.
Mhm.
And the door, I can't quite. You said it's 5 feet up.
yeah, it's 5 feet off of the ground. Yeah.
Is there anything around the outside of it that looks like like a panel or
Can you give me an investigation
groving?
or perception, I should say.
Got a +4 on that. Oh, 21.
The structure of it seems kind of uniform in how pitted and kind of weathered it is, except for you can see there's a small little section of it, little panel, where there's a tiny little slot you imagine could fit that disc inside.
I was to say, is it about
That fits about like arm's reach away, to the kind of like in parallel to where from where the circular opening is. So yeah,
So now the opening, is it open or is it just partially open?
it's like partially opened, and you can see that it's a bit jammed. In fact, one thing stopping it from closing all the way is the fact that like the metal has like buckled and the frame has like come a bit loose and kind of warped a bit, from who knows what. But like the damage of it causes the circular door to not close properly all the way.
You're with me for a second. And she looks to Zeph. How tall is Zeph?
About a head taller than you are.
Can they reach the slot?
You see that they have really long gangly arms, and
Yeah.
it would just barely reach.
I suggest to Zeph that maybe they could try putting that disc in that slot.
Like a key.
Yes.
Seth goes up, reaches up to where that like strange slot in the metal is, and kind of like fumbles a bit with this disc, and eventually like it slides in properly. And all of a sudden, all of you can hear the sounds of like a hydraulic, like pneumatic hissing sound, and like a pop, and the circular doors snap open with a force that is like reminds you of like 10 times stronger than any beast's jaws. You are happy that your limbs are clear of any small gaps, because it probably would have ripped off your fingers with how much force it opened with.
Yeah, I think a gasp definitely leaves her mouth involuntarily. Before she kind of, I guess, laughs with a little bit of joy, like, yay, figure something out. So she's quite excited about that. But well, now we know what those discs do.
Whatever it is beyond this place, we want no business with. We have something good here. For these discs, they are keys for you and your kind. You may have them. If and only if. She points to the area to the north. You clear out the vermin that is pestering us.
And this is, I guess, maybe when Gideon and Pex'alily have come up and caught up with us, and you're hearing this last little bit of it. Yes, so that's a thing that we need to do. It should be fine. We should be able to handle it. Looks at Gideon, and you're quite handy. And Pex'alily, I know how talented you are.
That's cute. Did they tell you what this you literally air quotes vermin look like?
Oh.
They're about this tall. They have the head of beetles, and their hands dismantle anything that they touch.
Oh, fantastic. Beetle heads and hands. It's gonna be great.
They can scurry through walls as if there were holes in them that I cannot even see.
Ugh.
And they are innumerable. They eat our food. They destroy all of our things that we've created and built. We're lucky to have these huts stand it's intact for more than a few days.
Anybody got fire? Just a lot of fire. Maybe we can just blow them up.
Yeah, no fire.
Have a torch.
I also have a torch, but
Same.
I'm more concerned about the lack of rest some of us have had.
I have to agree with that. Can we wait and do this, quote unquote, in the morning?
I could use a nap. Yeah.
A nap does sound pretty nice. Little siesta.
So, to be clear, you will not be able to have a in-game rest in these caverns. You'll have to go, leave in the caves, go back up to town, resupply to rest there. This place is not a place you can rest in to get a full night's sleep. Conir Bane's daughter did offer his former workshop and estate to be a place that you can rest in between your forays into the caves below Torch.
So
I
maybe
mean-
we take this time to figure out how these creatures, like what they do, how they work, how they what kills them potentially, and then go back and get our stuff.
Yeah, I propose that we maybe spend a little time here and then we go back and get some shut eye. I mean, it's not like the monsters are gonna respawn or anything. Gideon says as he looks at the fourth wall. But I think Jax is looking a little tired. I think he could use a rest.
And you're doing okay.
Yeah. No, of course. I'm good. Doing
You
great.
sure?
Peachy.
Okay. I'll make sure
He
nothing
says
gets.
he's like not doing well. Very obviously.
It's just hands on his waist, just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'll just go to IRL break here, and then we'll discuss how we are in-game breaking. But yeah, we can go ahead and pause our adventures for a little bit.
All right. We'll take about a 10-minute break and we'll see you on the other side.
Just 1 second, so the cats are being.
That perfect timing. I'll fill the role of Carrie in this moment. While we're waiting for Vi to deal with the cat, be sure to check out exclamation point merch in the chat so you can check out our Teespring store where you can get all kinds of cool MTD merch.
Hi, I'm back. The cat has been dealt with. He was trying to get out the window, and I did not want a cat going out the window. So we're back, and we are in the caves below Torch. You've met with Seth, the leader of these underground people. They have asked you with the task of clearing out the pests that reside to the north that have been disrupting their way of life, immeasurably so. She has described them to you, and they are small-statured, beetle-headed creatures with long, pokey sticks and grabby claws that are able to disassemble things insanely quickly and can crawl through holes in the wall that don't exist. This description seems to just like elude you on what these things could be, but I'll let everyone roll a recall knowledge check. Recall knowledge action. On this description, if you have any kind of Fey lore, you may apply that proficiency.
It's a 19.
I don't have Fey lore. I have xenobiology lore.
Unfortunately, xenobiology only applies to creatures not of this world.
Darn.
So if you don't have any of the lore, it would just be like a
Oop.
would it be like a recall knowledge nature check?
It would just like an intelligence roll.
Okay.
23.
$18.
Okay. Pex'alily, did you get a result?
I got a whole 3.
All right. So Dexter, Gideon, and then Sara, you would recognize this description as a creature that's called a gremlin. Specifically, a Vexkit gremlin. They are a beetle-headed, malicious fairy creature that like to lair in the darker corners of civilization. In fact, they thrive about being living with people. They are little cruel tricksters and malicious creatures and saboteurs that delight in ruining and breaking things and causing mischief and mayhem and damage, including that of both structures and livelihoods. You would know that Vexkits themselves have a firm exoskeleton that, as fey creatures, are cut through particularly by cold iron. But you have to watch out for their speedy sabotage ability, as well as their ability to rust metal with their fingers. When there's enough gremlins in a gathering, they can teleport from place to place using a spell that is similar to magics like Dimension Door. You would also know that bells, for some reason, chase away gremlins, even if they're unenchanted. The ringing of bells.
They're definitely not equipped to deal with these.
Well, not with that attitude.
We may not be equipped right now to deal with them, Dexter, but
That's what I mean.
we can go back and get more equipped.
That's what I was suggesting.
Oh, okay. So y'all know what we're dealing with then.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Nasty little things.
Wonderful.
But they can be dealt with, Pex'alily.
Does someone care to explain to me? Not exactly the book learning type.
What is your primary weapon? You're a gun.
I'm a gunslinger.
Oh.
I'll point at the metal bits on your firearm. With just a touch, they can turn these pieces here into rust. Among other issues when they are gathered together, we should return to Torch, rest, resupply, and then return with bells on.
And get many, many, many bells. Yes.
Oh, okay. Bells.
They don't like bells.
Press. Okay. Okay. Then Let's head back up top then.
You should. I'll turn to Gideon and Inanisara. You should tell your friends we will return.
We'll be right back
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Of course. Once those pests are clear, these are yours, and that is our deal.
We will bring you some things that should also help you in the future.
What, you wish to not do the task in completion?
Just saying. And once we've done the task, there's no reason to say that they wouldn't come back, so we can help you to prevent a subsequent attack.
You're not going to clear out the infestation for us?
So, you know, and she'll point to, like, I don't know, maybe something scurries along the ground, right? You can kill all of these, but eventually, I mean, it may take years, decades even, but they will come back.
No, you have a point, yes. They always have fire. They always will have ways of getting here.
Exactly.
Who knows where they're coming from?
So we can fix this problem and then help you so that it does not return.
Good, good. Okay, I like this. Very well. You are free to come and go as you please.
We
Lay
will.
not a finger on our heads, and we'll do the same to you.
I think as you're saying, laying hands on her head, I was just like, you can see that she's imagining this whole thing and just kind of like, no, not happening.
So you're free to leave this cavern area, going back through the tunnels from whence you came, and head up top, back to the town of Torch.
And to Torch we shall go.
As you walk past that cold cave, did you want to at all brave the cold dust while you're here still, or is that going to be a thing you just leave behind forever?
Knowing that it's okay, cold dust, and we know these creatures don't like that. I think Inanisara would like to maybe just look, or at least go look at this cold dust to see what it is, in case, like, see what this dust is made out of.
Okay. To get any close to inspecting it, you'll have to brave its extremely chilling frosty aura. Like you'll feel it getting colder and colder and colder. And to go to a point where you can really start investigating it, you'll be subjecting yourself to its cold aura. So it'll be up to you, if you wish, at the cost of your investigation.
Yeah, I will go up to where I can, like, kind of, I guess, start to feel the cold.
Mhm.
And I'd like to like, before I even go further into the
Yeah.
dust, I'd like to figure out is it like a spell per se? Like, is this a magical aura of cold, or is this something otherworldly that we may not know?
As you begin to like approach this tunnel, where the cold is coming from, you get to feel it again, already nipping at your skin and hold in your breath, kind of holding as condensation in the air and the frost along the cavern walls. You can do a recall knowledge of a lore arcana if you wish, if you have arcana.
I have Arcana, but not Lore Arcana.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Recall knowledge arcana is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's +5. Oh, I rolled a 4, so 9. Yay!
You are really not that sure. This could
Fine.
be some enchanted area. by some spellcaster. It could not be. You really don't know what you'll be looking for. Can't tell the difference.
So can I tell the difference between whether it's a natural
Wait,
thing
wait, wait,
versus...
wait, wait. I
Wait.
already investigated this thing. I have a reaction called Clue In that if another creature attempts to check to investigate something that I've already checked, I can share information with the triggering creature. They get a circumstance bonus equal to my circumstance bonus to checks for investigating subjects, which is just to see if it'll make a difference. Perception check, get a... Okay, at this level, it's just a +1. I thought it would be bigger than that. That turns a 9 into a 10.
Yeah, no, you really don't know. You're not sure what the difference would be, and you're not educated enough to be able to know the difference.
Okay, yeah, so I can't tell right now whether this is magical, natural, something else. Yeah, okay.
All you know is that it's not right.
It's not right. And it affects like the entire thing. I'm not even touching it, and I'm already feeling the cold,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
you'll be able to know that if you get within 5 feet of it, you'll be subjected to lethal cold, because
Cool.
your heat will be sucked out of your body.
That sounds
And here you're about
lovely.
like 15 feet away, and it's like you're outside during the winter kind of cold.
Mhm. So from that distance, is the dust like floating in the air as well, or is it all just like
All
settled?
settled. It's all just settled on the cavern floor.
And yet
So,
this cold is still emanating everywhere.
Yep.
Um,
and Dexter did share about how the dust itself is causing the cold by how he had like got some on his rope and almost froze from it. Almost got
there a
frostbite from it.
rock or anything on the ground?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, yeah. So I'd like to pick up one that's probably about, let's say a quarter size, a
Mhm.
little bit. And I want to toss it in the room such that it would kind of roll across the dust. I want to see
Mhm.
what it does.
Yeah, it kind of just like skips and rolls through the dust, and it like disrupts it and like leaves a little wake, like a little like path where the dust has been kind of cleared. Like the dust kind of gets kicked up a little bit and settles back down,
So for all intents and
covering the rock again.
right. So for all intents and purposes, it acts like dust
Yeah,
does.
it acts kind of like but a cross between like dust and like dust bunnies, you know?
Okay. She will record those in her mind and then turn around and say, well, I'm done. And look back at the others. I don't know if they were looking at her like, oh my God, this woman. Or like, what is she doing? But she's like, oh, I'm ready.
And so then you return above ground to the town of Torch, swimming through the waters that lead away from this cavern back to the small pond at the base of Black Hill. You dry yourselves off, and you're now in town. The town feels anxious. The town is extremely nervous still about the lack of one of its council members, the lack of the fire that once, was the blazing glory for generations of this town. It's gone out, and there you can see people beginning to leave, packing their things, abandoning this place for some greener pasture. So they know that life is about to end here in Torch.
The one thing I'd like to do while we're up here, I know like we want to get some supplies and we want to get potentially maybe some weapons that we can use and a whole whack of bells. I'd also like to see, like, do we trust any of the other council members? Like, I know we're here to help save the I keep forgetting his name. Corvin, whatever, Mr. Bain. But I'm wondering if we could talk to them about corner. That's right. It may be somebody who knows about this purple-haired lady.
You'd ask around town about a purple-haired woman. I want a skill check from you. I'm not sure which one that would really apply. Is it like a society
I
skill?
have society. It's untrained.
Sure. Yes. Either that or persuasion, your choice. To get some information out of people.
Would it make sense for me to accompany you,
Yes, please.
as I'm from this town and I am
Mhm.
trained in society?
I was about to say the same thing. I was
don't know if
like, you
there's-
could take one of us with you because
I don't think there's like a help action, is there? Oh, there's no. I guess it wouldn't work that way anyway. There's no advantage in this game.
You like aid other or something?
Is that a thing?
I was gonna say aid. An ally is about to use an action that requires a skill check or an attack roll. Requirements: the ally is willing to accept your aid and you have prepared to help. And it says see below. When you use your aid action, attempt a skill check or attack roll of a type decided by the GM. The typical DC is 20, but the GM might adjust this DC for particularly hard or easy tasks. The GM can add relevant traits to your preparatory action or to your aid reaction depending on the situation, or even allow you to aid checks other than skill checks and attack rolls.
Oh, so basically, whoever's aiding has to make a DC check in order to give some type of circumstance bonus to the
Yeah.
person doing the checking.
That's such a headache. Why do they make this rule this way? Goodness gracious.
Seems silly.
It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
I rolled a 3, so
Gotcha.
um,
Well,
What
you'd
good are
give
you?
that would
you'd
mean
give a -1.
that would be a
penalty to
-1.
Kaeryn's roll.
Actually, I'm not helping at all.
You're doing the opposite of what I need.
I'm
Doing the
I'm
opposite
introducing
of
you
what
to
you need.
people, but because I'm terrible with people, I'm introducing them either with the incorrect names or with the mnemonic devices I've given them. Like, this is Big Bushy Mustache. This is Yells Too Loudly. This is Chews with Mouth Open. You know, those kind of things.
And I'm stuck with apologizing and using my diplomacy to get it back to a place where I can actually talk to them again. Oh, lovely.
Don't talk to him. He's very opinionated.
So what did you get on your roll, Kaeryn?
I didn't roll because I was like, oh no.
I tried
Society
to help.
or
Oh, I got
persuasion?
a 1.
Oh no.
1 baby. So
you get a critical failure on this.
We do. We have domain relics.
Do you wish to undo this critical failure using a domain relic?
I think yes.
Something disastrous would happen. I'm not sure what would happen yet.
I
but something
think we
disastrous would
go
happen.
up, and I think yes, we'll redo that. It's the whole you're starting to talk about this in your way of helping me. It starts up very badly, and we immediately turn tact, and we get an 8. So it's not great,
Oh,
but at least not catastrophic.
Can't you see I'm busy with a client here? As you walked up to like a merchant, like literally in the middle of doing a deal. As you just like butt in for a conversation. You get like brushed aside. This is kind of like what it's like as you try to go to talk with anyone here in town. People are just too stressed and too self-focused. Now with Torch being no longer Torch, people's livelihoods are at stake here. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from, their next coin, their next payment. It's a stressful time, and people like you are not something that they want to talk to right now. You're not here to offer them solutions, so they dismiss you.
Well, I guess we'll find out about this woman later. Nobody cares. The names you've given these people seem to be pretty accurate. Maybe Cornier's daughter knows something. We can at least meet up with her. But let's continue getting all of these bells. And I will spend most of the evening, I guess, trying to rally up some bells and getting as many of them
Sure.
as I can from all the peoples.
It is hard for you to find people selling bells, but eventually you're able to like go from merchant and merchant to merchant.
I'll even go from
Um,
person to person. If they're packing up their houses, I'll offer for bells.
Yeah, I'm trying to find just like where are you? A bell. No way a
Is-
bell costs a gold piece, huh?
That's like one of those fancy perfect bells. Like, I'll take anything. It just has to be bell-like, right? I don't know.
How much does a bell cost? I don't know, let's say like 5 silver per bell. But
Okay.
you can get like really cheap ones, like the ones that are like, but like no one makes a cheap bell, I guess. Like, it's like I don't know. Let's say you get like a dozen bells for like a gold piece is what you end up collecting. How many bells are you trying to get access?
I will spend like 3 gold to get
3 dozen bells
3 dozen bells.
of varying sizes and shapes and
You
and
betcha.
conditions. Yeah, perfect. You
Yep.
you come back to the party, 3 golds poorer, but with just like your arms just filled with bells of varying sizes and dingliness. The rest of you are taking up residence in Coney Bain's residence and getting a night's sleep. So you can go ahead and have a rest. Which is best. You regain hit points equal to your Constitution modifier multiplied by your level. You lose a fatigue condition if you have any. You reduce the severity of doomed and drained by 1, which I think Gideon had, but now you're going to be no longer having them. And spellcasters regain their spells.
You had 1
And
hit
I lose
point.
my enfeebled edition. So that's cool.
I was gonna say I gain 1 hit point.
On mod times level. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
You also have 0 con.
I have 1.
Oh wait, yeah. Well, mine would be 0, but it's minimum of
Minimum 1. I'm at the
Minimum
same one.
1.
Yeah. My con is 0 as well. Boy, we're the
I'm up to
party
4.
party.
I need to know how my
Oh.
gunslinger's con is higher than all yours.
Before we go to sleep, can I cast my last spell?
Yeah, because you're going to get it back anyways.
Yeah,
So.
and I'll cast heal. I can do this with all of the time. So material, somatic, verbal, like all the things. And I can get all of us. If there's more people hurt than just Gideon.
I'm still hurt.
Okay, so it goes if you're healing, increase the hit points restored by 8. So I get a D8 plus 8 and it'll do everyone. Okay, so 13 points for everyone.
How many? Sorry, 13.
13.
Nice.
That's kind of cool that spellcasters like actually now out heal going to sleep for the night.
Yeah. Well, You're gonna need to if you can only get 1 hit point back per night. That's kind of
Like in 5, you just go
Yeah.
back to full. Like spell, like healing isn't as important, I guess, for spells.
Ouch.
Kind of shows you how cool spells are now, I guess.
yeah. I feel badass now.
Mhm.
Woohoo!
You just did 2 weeks of recovery in a moment using magic. That's pretty impressive.
Oh. And then I collapse because I'm so tired and I go to sleep.
Mhm.
Role-playing games, the only place where you can actually get a solid 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
Not wrong.
As you wake up the next day, all of you wake up with these ringing, splitting headaches. All of
Oh,
you,
no.
please make fortitude saving throws.
Oh boy.
14.
23.
I'm going to
18.
re-roll because I'm not starting the day off with a 6. Hold on. Grab a different D20 here.
How much do you get, Sarah?
18.
Cool.
That's better. Fortitude, you said?
Mhm.
21.
All right. You shake off the headaches. They're annoying, but nothing debilitating. As you're ready for another day of adventuring, you've collected some bells. Is there anything else that you wanted to have collected in this time frame?
Was cold iron even a thing that we could possibly get around here?
This is at least was a hub of metallurgy. So cold iron weaponry would be technically available. It would be rare, but you could probably try to find it. You could find a cold iron item costs 40 gold pieces above a normal item of an item normal material. So it'd be whatever, like a cold iron longsword is whatever a longsword is plus 40 gold pieces in price.
I have no money for this, so it's up to you guys.
It is a very, very intricate and delicate way of forging an item um, that is very expensive to do because you need to access the ore from certain places and under certain moon phases, and they have to be able to melt the metal using low heat conditions, and it's a whole art to it that is extremely difficult for most blacksmiths to do.
I have 2 gold. I will not be purchasing anything cold iron.
I think Gideon has the money to buy anything.
I was actually looking into see if Gideon can like make one. I don't know if Gideon can.
I have specialty crafting as a feed.
Because that could be a project that Gideon does if you're willing to like spend weeks. I mean, the town probably won't last weeks. You have metal. What's your blacksmithing? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay, the craft
Gives me
action
like Mhm.
item is your level or lower. Okay, so cold iron I believe is level 2. Oh, no, item 0 plus. Okay, have a cold iron weapon. Item 2 plus. Okay, you have to be level 2 to craft cold iron. You're still an apprentice. You're not quite having access to all these things yet. Like, I'm gonna go beat up rats until I'm level 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to be level 2. You have to have the formula, which I don't know what those are. There's appropriate set of tools in workshop, which I think you'd probably have access to from your mentor. And raw materials worth at least half the item's price, which you probably could buy, I guess. You could probably buy the raw materials at half the item's price. And it's 4 days of work to make it. So It would take you 4 days if you were level 2, and 20 gold pieces worth of cold iron to make a cold iron weapon, Gideon. But I think it's slightly outside of your capabilities at this point.
You need to go kill more molds.
Mhm.
What is everybody's primary weapon that you were using? I don't remember. Pex'Alily's a gun.
Pex'Alily's is a hand cannon.
I use my hands and my mouth. And I say things and do little fancy word flippies. And
Magic.
yeah, all sorts of things happen, and you never know, understand why. Yeah. But I carry a mace for some reason. You don't know why. You've never seen me use it.
I would recommend something like this. And I pull out a what basically looks like a leather club. This is called a sap. It's hard, not as good as a sword, but it's not made of metal.
Oh, I have one of these. And she'll pull out this leather strap. It's kind of got like this pouch and then some rocks. Also not made of metal. She's got a sling as well.
And ranged weapons should work well, hopefully. Is there anything else we need?
Is anybody wearing armor that they need to worry about? I do not. I am not. Sorry.
Leather, studded leather.
I was gonna say I just have regular leather.
Oh, I have studded leather. Why do I have studded leather?
I have lattice armor.
Lattice?
Oh, yeah, studded leather. This leather armor is reinforced with metal studs and sometimes small metal plates. Let's keep our distance.
Yeah, I plan to.
Lattice armor is metal cables woven together.
Yeah.
So we need to attack these things from a distance and try not to get hit. Or touched by them, at least.
Or you don't wear your armor.
That seems very unwise.
I was about to say that doesn't sound smart.
What does Gideon use? Hands as well?
Sorry.
For attacking. Your weapon.
Oh, I have a sword. Bastard sword.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've been in enough fights. I guess I could use my hands.
Yeah. It's like my whole thing using a sword and he like furthers like he takes the sword and you see like this like lightning blue energy. It's like my whatever I can do doesn't really work otherwise.
Has to be metal. Can you do that with like those practiced wood swords the kids play with?
He thinks about it. He could. Yeah.
These... What were these things? The Vegemites, Vegetix, Vegetales,
The gremlins.
Vexgit. That doesn't even have veg in it. Was it that they touched? They can turn things to rust with a touch, or touching them turn things to rust?
With their little hands. Little grabby hands can rust things. And disassemble things in the blink of an eye.
Ooh. Yeah, Pex'alily, you will want to keep them away from your firearms.
I plan on it. I mean, I can put it back together, but if it rusted, that will not be good for me. I do have a dagger, and I do have my own little hands, so I think I'll be okay.
Well, we can only do what we can do. And we have a whole lot of bells.
A lot of bells.
What if we... Presumably you purchased the bells to act as a deterrent once we've cleansed the area for them. But what if, while we go in, each of us has a bell or two attached to us?
You're thinking exactly how I was thinking, Dexter. It was a protection for us while we deal with the problem and then leave them behind once we're done.
So we will literally return with bells on.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I kind of laughed when you said that.
Excellent. Well, I'm ready when you are.
All right.
And to protect them the best as possible, they're going to be bundled up in as waterproof a container as we can get without paying for it. For the little
Torch mart bag.
yeah, exactly. For our dip in the water. And then we'll bring them out to attach them on ourselves.
Sounds good. You return to the caves where these creatures are. You have bells in tow. Ready to clear out these gremlins from these caves. You've returned, says the gray-skinned creature. I think that they know that you are coming. They have not been. They did not bother us at all last night. I think they know their days are numbered here.
They didn't bother you at all.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
These are yours. And we can see that they have been cleared out. As she holds aloft the gray and brown discs.
She's just holding them out. She's not offering them at this point.
No,
right?
she's like
she's just reminding
showing.
us this is your booty.
This is your prize if you can answer my riddles 3. Yes.
Can you take us to where they are most or have been most prevalent?
There are 2 ways to get to the caves. We've tried our best to seal off this one. She points off to this one. You can see that's been like barricaded by like the same things that the huts are made of, like scraps of metal and plant fiber and stuff. But they keep digging through it, slipping past as if it were not even there. Shows this section of the cave. And of course, up in here, we cannot block this way off nearly as well. So up here and up here, you have 2 avenues.
The unblocked passage seems to be the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You'll notice that the unblocked passage here is branching out already into 2 diverse paths of tunnels. It is a ledge up about 10 feet, which is a difficult climb because it doesn't have too many handholds. Not an impossible one at all, just like DC, just like a low DC climb to get up. But there's the choice of like to the north or to the east.
To the north is to the left, left is right, and right is wrong.
Well, right's just going to match the other one, and it's not necessarily wrong. I mean, sometimes the right could be right.
So which way do you want to go?
Well, I kind of do want to go right, just to make sure that the other path, the blocked path, kind of joins, and so that we know we're kind of going in the same area and not having things at our back.
I will agree to go right, but I reserve the right to say I told you so if it turns out poorly.
That's the spirit.
And I will help. I will stay at the bottom and help people climb up.
Oh yeah. I'll definitely need help up. I mean, it's not my forte.
Do the classic interlaced fingers, the hand step.
So that'll reduce the DC of climbing up. So one at a time, you can make the an athletics check to climb up.
I'll let somebody go first because then they can help me from up top as well, grabbing me when I get
Gideon
close
will go.
Okay.
Gideon's athletic, I think. Yeah. Just kidding. So 13?
That's quite good enough. Yes, you're able to get up without issue.
Yeah, and he'll help whoever is coming up.
I will try next, I guess, with Dexter's help at the bottom and Gideon's help at the top. And I rolled a lovely 8 on the die, so 7.
You slip, your hand catches, you can take 1 point of damage from the rocks and from the irregular ground as you scrape your hand and bash a knuckle. But ultimately do get up on top.
I guess it's Pex'Alily's turn. This should be fun with my +1 to athletics here. Let's see how we do. It's a whole 12.
You're able to get up as well.
That leaves me with no one to help. But I rolled a dirty 20.
I was gonna say
Gideon will
Pex'Alily
help.
would have reached down.
I rolled a dirty
Nice.
20 on my check.
What size are you, Pex'Alily? You're small sized, right?
Yeah, she's small.
Yeah. So everyone but Pex'Alily, when you're up in these caverns, all of you have to stoop. It is very crowded and very narrow. It has very little headroom, with ceilings reaching at a height at the tallest of 5 feet tall. Everyone else has to stoop down, crouching. It's very cramped in here, except for you, Pex'Alily. You're unbothered by this tightness. You have to like bump and squeeze past each other or form a single rank and file to squeeze through these caves. But can I get a perception roll from everyone, please, as you're now finally up here?
$14.
12.
18.
7.
Did you say 7?
Yeah.
18.
Oh.
What do you get, Em?
7.
All right. I would like all of you, please, to roll me a d20. Each of you individually.
Oh no.
Dexter, you rolled the lowest in this d20 roll. As all of a sudden, as you're like finally getting up and pushing past your companions and taking a step, you realize that you took a wayward step as you hear a twang sound as you tripped a thin cord,
Oh.
which unleashes out of nowhere, hidden by like chalk and like plaster, almost like fake like goop, this like disguised from the ceiling. A wooden stake, sorry, not wooden stake, a metal stake comes swinging down and into you to impale you. A spring-loaded spike trap.
This feels very
It's
familiar.
it is going to attack you with its attack roll and deal some damage to you. It is going to get a 28 to hit, which I think is a critical hit.
That is a critical hit on me.
Yeah, critical hit is like double the damage rolled, right? So it's
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh goodness, it's going to be. Does that double like the modifier too, or only the dice rolls?
It's whatever the damage is doubled.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's going to be 24 points of piercing damage.
Dexter does not make a sound at first as the spike impales him, and then you just see I imagine you all see the spike coming out of his back, and then you just hear him say, "That hurt more than I thought it would." And you see that blue bioluminescent fluid leaking out of me, and I go limp.
And you are dropped to death's door, Dexter, from the rigged traps set behind by these gremlins. The rest of you can hear a almost chittering laughter echoing through the tunnels around you. Echoing through the walls. They say some thing you can't quite understand.
Now
Except for,
we
I guess,
know-
you, Pex'alily, you can understand because you know Undercommon. Poke it, stab it, run it through, eat its bones, and chew its goo. Is what it says in Undercommon.
Not horrifying at all. Yeah, Pex'alily is when we start to hear the noises and she understands what they're saying, she keeps her hand cannon at her side and she just pulls out a dagger, and she kind of turns to look at Inanisara and Gideon, and she's like, "Okay, I need y'all to get him off there and get him fixed in some sort of way, because these things are gonna try to eat us." Apparently our goo, so
So if we're not like in rounds or anything, I would like.
I would say this probably would warrant an initiative roll.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering.
And we'll
yeah.
act from there, I think.
We forgot about the dying
There's going to be
overlay.
perception rolls for everyone.
So initiative is perception and then plus the initiative number. Is that how it works?
It's just
Um,
perception, isn't it?
It's just a perception roll.
Okay, because my character sheet goes +4 perception, and then underneath it goes +0 initiative. So
Yeah, that just there are some abilities where it gives you a +2 initiative specifically.
on top of your perception. Okay,
Yeah, so that's where that would go.
so I got a nat 20 for a total of 24 for
Ooh.
initiative.
We'll have Dexter make. Yeah. There we go.
Yep, I got an 8. And thanks for the reminder on the overlay. I totally forgot I had
Mhm.
overlays.
So Inanisara got 24. So what we'll do is you're looking around. Dexter's been impaled. Pex'alily calls out for someone to do something. Inanisara, you see emerging from the shadows one of these beetle creatures appearing, poking its head down through the tunnel here. And another one popping out, literally out of the walls, where there was nothing there before. Just emerging as if the wall was made of water. These beetle-headed creatures, they each carry these long spears made of metal, similar to the one that is running through Dexter's gut right now, but smaller and more able to be held by these diminutive creatures. And as they advance upon you, chittering madly as spittle drips down their mandibles, as they yell in their undercommon guttural speech. We're going to be ending here as the three of you try to fend off yourself against the gremlins as Dexter dies at your backs.
No, he's not dead yet.
I'm not dead
Mostly
yet.
dead.
I'm mostly dead.
Pex'alily cannot lose her robot friend.
And so I have kept the initiative score here that we will be using for next session, as we will jump right into the action of you defending your companion that has fallen.
Well, that was exciting.
Mhm.
We went back to town and got that long rest, huh?
Yeah.
We're so much more prepared now.
We have the jinglies.
I know, and it didn't keep them away.
Nope. All right.
Jinglies did nothing.
Awesome,
Well,
awesome.
Thank you, Vi, for a wonderful return to Skymetal. I will spend the next couple weeks thinking about my next character. And yeah. So thank you everybody that tuned in. Thank you for the subscriptions and the cheers. We appreciate that. We used a couple of those tonight. You can catch us here in 2 weeks. This game is every other Tuesday. We are presumably off of our hiatus. Everything that was hindering us is now in the rearview mirror. So we should be back in 2 weeks at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on a Tuesday. And you can catch our next game on MTD this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. with Kids on Bikes. Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. Thank you to everybody who tuned in again. If you're somebody that likes to listen in quietly in the background, or you're somebody watching later on the VOD, we appreciate you and hope you enjoy it. And of course, a huge thank you to our amazing Game Master Vi, and to the players, myself, Kaeryn, Sara, M, all of whom, without whom, this would just be Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Metadata.